this down, but I gotta set this tape over so I can pick it up.
And it will be poignant and stuff and just start playing. But this isn't a poignant moment. So.
I grew up in Covington, Georgia. I am 6th generation Covington, Georgia. That's why my head is so small. And my mama fell for the marketing of breakfast cereal. King Vitamin, have breakfast with the king. It's good for me. So I grew up on cereal. My mom didn't cook because she grew up a privileged woman. I don't say that to brag because she married badly. And so I grew up on cereal a lot at night, and I know the 4 basic properties of cereals. They're flaked, puffed, shredded, and clustered. And I learned that by going to a General Mills plant. I played a gig at a General Mills plant, so you can imagine how excited I was. In fact, God in His providence put a General Mills plant in my town. I was so excited, and so there was a day when the workers weren't going to work. They were at meetings all day. They were spraying the plant. I came to learn that because they gave me a handler because I'm a kid loose in a cereal plant. I mean, haven't you always dreamed into diving into a vat of Cocoa Puffs? They're right there. Our cereal plant is a puffed plant. They make Cocoa Puffs, Trix, and Honey Nut Cheerios. Whoa.
Yeah! Yeah, it's amazing. And I could smell the cereal. In fact, if you're on I-20 and you're going between Atlanta and Augusta, just roll your windows down when you come by my town. It's the greatest industrial odor of all time. Anyway, I was there sitting and a flea jumped on my hand. And I said, dude, there's a flea here. He says, can't be. I said, it's a flea. He said, can't be. I said, it's most definitely a flea. Now, I grew up with dogs and cats in Georgia. I know what a flea looks like. He said, you brought it in here. I said, I don't have fleas. And I said, look, and you do that thing, you ever done that? You kind of lick, and sometimes you can capture the flea, and when you capture it, you roll it to death between your fingers, and the flea's with, it makes the tape machine work. And I went to get it, and it was gone. And he said, it can't be. And he went to another desk, and he pulled out like this library card catalog, and he had these cards. So they're about the size of, your envelopes in the pew of your church where you donate to it. There's like a little hole in each one, and there's like this pantyhose material, and therein was caged a bug. It's absolutely true. He says, was it this? I said, no. He said, was it this? I said, no. I said, was it this? I said, no. And I said, well, answer me this. Why do you have a bunch of bugs? Well, we've taken these things. Right, you want to know too. They put them in alligator clips throughout the plant, and they spray the insecticide in the plant because there's all this grain with all these bugs. And then after spraying, they go and they look at these cards, and if that bug is dead, then they have smited its brethren. But this does not put me off cereal. I understand cereal. I understand the society of cereal. I understand the tension and the romantic tension between Quisp and Quake. He's from the planet Q. And I loved it, and I grew up on cereal. Now, to be fair to my mom, we didn't just have cereal. One day, she came home from school. My mom was a full-time substitute teacher. Yeah, she went every day. She even had a pension. It was wonderful. She was full-time, and then at the end of the school year, she brought home some of the food that the government gave to our lunchroom. She came with a gallon of peanut oil, a loaf of yellow cheese, and a gallon bucket of peanut butter that looked like a little, sand pail. And she says, hey, here's our food for the summer. So this is going to be great. Well, it was wonderful for me because my sister Sassy has a fear of yellow cheese. And when I say fear, I mean fear. It's not that she doesn't just not like it, and she absolutely fears it. So what I would do, of course, was, we would get the Cracker Barrel cheese in little blocks like this, and I would slice it with my Cub Scout pocket knife, and I'd fling it at her. I know, and my mama would see me do that. She, if I missed my sister, she'd say, don't waste food. Of course, I scored her right on the head. That wasn't wasteful, so she didn't say anything. But it was not accurate. I was only batting like 300 because sometimes my slice would slice. Man, Man, this is a tough room. And I found a better way to deliver my cheese, and that came from playing football with my friends. Now, in the autumn especially, we'd go to church, and after church, we'd go to lunch at Henderson's Good Food Catfish and eat what people call soul food. And that food, of course, during the Great Migration of African Americans that went up north, they brought that food with them. Folks started associating it with soul music that became known as soul food, but where I'm from, we call that food. We'd go and have food, and then our dads would turn the television on to watch football, and football to watch is boring. We'd go out and play at Mrs. Pratt's yard. Mrs. Pratt had like one of the most grand antebellum homes in our area. The magnolia tree is all up and down. It was all symmetrical, and gardenias and azaleas and camellias, but the middle of her lawn was totally pulverized because she let us play football there. Those great people, and she would sit on the porch with a quilt over her lap and just clap and have the best time watching us play football. Boys and girls, we played tackle, but we didn't butt heads, so that's not why I have a brain injury. So, we had the best time. It was so much fun playing football. And we played our own rules, no pads, no helmets. Now, Sandy McDonald showed up one day with his golf spikes on. And adhered me too. Now, these are the old school golf spikes, remember? Saddle oxers, tassels, nails! And stepped on me, and I adhered to him for a while, and that was bad. Then Pat Wiggins, who was the peacemaker, we called him Wiggles, he was always the peacemaker, and what he said was like, let's play barefoot. Well, it's too cold. Well, we'll be fine, we're gonna play. And Pat went on to invent the McDonald's play place. And came up with the rules like, take off your shoes for safety. The kid goes in the restaurant, put off your shoes for health! Take off your shoes for safety. So when my kid went to McDonald's, he always went with one shoe. One day, and believe it or not, I used to take tumbling and I took gymnastics when I was really, really little. And I could do a pretty good forward roll, and I could twist in the air and do a forward roll when I was short and spry. And Sandy would throw me the ball, and I would always dive for it. If I caught it, I would do a spiral in the air, and I would do a somersault and come up and spike the ball. It was my show-off thing, and if I caught the ball at the goal line. So Sandy had thrown it to me, Wiggles was behind me, I went to catch it. When I went to catch it, I dove. When I dove, he went grabbing for my ankle to keep me from going over the goal line, but he grabbed me by the toe. Oh. Yeah, and I twisted, so the toe went, yeah, it was awful, bam. And of course, I had to, recoil. And it was horrible, and I was really hurt, and they carried me to my mom, and I, as I say in the tradition of my people, I tore up my foot. Well, I tore up my foot, and my mama took me to the doctor, of course, and I had to get an old school cast. Young lady, this is back when a cast was made out of concrete. And I couldn't play football, and I was really sad. And that next Sunday, my mom said, "Do you want me to watch your friends play football?" No. I didn't want to watch my friends play football. I couldn't play football. Why would I want to watch my friends? I felt so bad. The next Sunday, she gave me a surprise. It wasn't my birthday. It wasn't Christmas. She gave me an electric vibrator football set.
Whoa.
All right, who said whoa? Yeah, you remember those? The electric football game? That's the lamest game ever, isn't it? I got into an argument with an audience member back in October. No, I love those! I know he was a lonely fellow. If you don't know what that, okay, I'm going to explain what it is. Right, you're explaining it. Did you have one, sir? Did you have an electric football game?
No, but I've seen it.
But your friends had them and you're jealous and you never got over it, right? So, it's a sheet metal and it's painted like a football field, and under the sheet metal is a little motor with a half moon weight on the shaft. And when you turn it on, it goes and it vibrates the surface. And then you have little football dudes, and they're on a little base with little hairs coming off their base, and they have little blockers, and they have the quarterback, and they have the receiver, and they have the lineman. My sister would always take the lineman and on opposing teams and leave it on. I'd come in my room, the lineman would be holding hands dancing, like swaying your partner. That was a lot of fun. And then the quarterback has a little spring arm and it has a little piece of felt shaped like a football, and you stop the motor and your receiver's there, like if it touched the receiver, hey, call it, yeah! It was just so lame. Lamest game in history. And it's what I call one of those, well, it's like, when you play with it for a while and then you put it away. Now, in my house, there was a game closet. The game closet had the lame games on one side. That's Parcheesi, the game of life for people who can't handle their Monopoly. And electric football, of course, on the other side's Risk, Monopoly, chess. Still played with that for a while, and then I grew up. I outgrew that, but I was still needing to find a way to play football, so I started playing paper football. Remember paper football? These are regulation paper football size tables. Do you realize that? This is wonderful that they've done that for the Roadhouse. If you don't know what that game is, you take a piece of paper, you fold it into a triangle like a flag, like folding a flag, and then you flick it back and forth. And these are for kids who should be studying. They give a study hall and then they leave, so we play paper football. And you click it, and then I got really good. I'm good at 3 things, really. Pretty much the best. Whistling, napping, and field goals for paper football. So when you get the corner over the edge of the table, you get to do a field goal. You get 6 points, and then you get to do a field goal. I could do a field goal, man. I could do it 20 feet, 30 feet. I just developed the skill. I don't know why. And I discovered if I take Cracker Barrel cheese, I cut it a 1/4 inch, I cut it from corner to corner diagonally, it's the same size and weight as a paper football. Batting 1,000, it was great. And so my sister would never come in the kitchen when there was cheese. I always had cheese. So there was a period there, I didn't see her for 2 years. And then I discovered the ultimate cheese delivering device for a little brother. My cousin came over, she had a new baby named Eugene. Eugene's little baby, 4 months old, la la la, cute, 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 smile, smile, smile. She let me hold, she goes, I'm gonna go make his formula. Do you wanna hold him? I said, yeah. So I took Eugene into the kitchen with my cousin. This is, because we were middle class white Southerners, breastfeeding is just vulgar. I remember hearing that. It's just vulgar. Nice people don't do that. So she's using the Playtex nurser, most like mother herself. I didn't know what that meant. None of us knew what any of this stuff meant. I remember commercials. This is true, man. I remember commercials. I'm cleaning my bathroom bowl. And then to show how clean the bathroom bowl was, you remember this? It was a clear bowl on a windowsill. And they'd show how clean it was. And I asked my mama, why don't we have a bathroom bowl? Like on the commercials. And my mama would patronizingly pat me on the head and never tell me anything. That explains a lot. So we're into the kitchen with my cousin. She takes the Playtex nurser bottle with a little baggie. She puts it in boiling water. I watch it. I'm talking to the baby. Baby's like, I'm trying to teach the baby to talk wrong, saying words that are not correct. And that was fun. And start them up. And then after a while, she took the bottle out and she takes it and she flicks it on her wrist, right? And I said, what's that about? She goes, well, if it's too hot, that will burn me. If it's too cold, it will be cold. If it's 98.6 degrees, your temperature, you won't feel it. I said, really? She goes, yeah. I said, that's amazing. She said, I know. Thank you for teaching me that. Well, I believe in educating people. Remember the peanut oil? I'm from a generation, and mostly women, but I will say, I'll try to be gender neutral. Stupid white people would take olive oil and iodine, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Slather it on themselves, go out to Shay's Lounge and bake themselves. So they can make sure they're as wrinkly as possible by the time they're 50. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Clap if you remember what I'm talking about. Well, Sister Sassagoon went looking for the olive oil. She was out of olive oil. I said, why don't you use the peanut oil? So she took some peanut oil, she put a little salad dressing bottle, she mixed it with the iodine, and you could tell when she was doing it because it smelled like medicinal peanut butter. And it was amazing. She would do that, and then I would see her out there, and then, you know, she did that all summer. I was in the grocery store with my mom. We were getting crackers, getting cheese. That was my supper. And I saw the can above the crackers, stuff called Easy Cheese. Do you know what Easy Cheese is? Because see, you guys are intellectuals. And you were raised right, so you might not know what this is. Easy Cheese comes in a can. It's like a whipped cream can, has a little propellant thing in it. And you know why? And it squirts a cheese product. And the reason Easy Cheese exists is because regular cheese is just too hard. You gotta take it out of the refrigerator. You gotta get a knife to open it because you can't pull it apart because it's packaging, and packaging, as you know, is designed to make old people die more quickly. You gotta cut it open, and then you're not gonna be able to seal it back, right? And you gotta get a knife and put it on the board, and you gotta cut the cheese. Easy Cheese. It's great. One day I was getting out my Easy Cheese, and I saw Sassy going out there. Iodine. She had bought that mask, and the models for that mask are always they're like Kool-Aid packets. Go next time you're in the store, go to the cosmetic aisle, and they're like little Kool-Aid packets, and there are women with chameleons on their eyes and their faces is green, and they look like aliens and their eyes are turned inside out. Mama, what's he saying? They're trying to start a child. So it was just. So her face was blue. She had 2 camellias in her eyeballs because that's what the little packet told her to do. And she was covered in peanut oil and iodine. And she was on the chaise lounge. And I went to put the Easy Cheese in the sun. And I put it on my wrist. And it was a little hot. I just kept it in the house for a while. I put it on my wrist. Couldn't feel it. I put it between her toes. And you may have heard it from Covington, Georgia. Heated up and caught her nose, and she's 64 and she's still there. I went on to high school, of course. I was in Mr. Carpenter's class. Mr. Carpenter had physical science. Physical science is science for the rest of us. Physical science is so you can graduate. Physical science is so that you can mess up in college biology. By the way, that song I played for you, it's on the International Society of Protozoologists website. That song appears to yeah. I tried to get academic. Yes, thanks. I tried to get academic publishing credit from Emory, but they wouldn't fall for it. My old day job. But so I was in Mr. Carpenter's class. Mr. Carpenter was really a shop teacher, but they wanted him to teach this class. They asked him if he would. He said, "How hard can it be?" So they brought him in from the shop. We had this wonderful high school, Newton County Comprehensive High School. The end of the high school, you could do anything. You could learn bricklaying. You could learn, it was like a community college within the high school. You could learn masonry, carpentry, auto mechanics. You can imagine how disappointed I was when I learned that cosmetology was not about space exploration. And Mr. Carpenter came to teach us science. He's about 3 pages ahead of us in the book. And then he offered us extra credit. Where are my educators? Clap if you're an educator. Yes, educators, we salute you. Extra credit, blessed are those who come in the name of extra credit. Extra credit is what teachers gave to kids they liked who were stupid. Those were the requirements. You're a terrible student, but the teacher likes you anyway. And Mr. Carpenter looked at the grade book and he called Johnny Norrington and Ed Crawford and me and a few others. And he said, "All right, y'all, I've been down to the bus depot. We have these fans from the old high school, these 8-foot big Dayton fans that they put in the classrooms. But of course, the school system couldn't throw them away because you can't throw stuff away if it's got a bar tag on it." And he said, "I've taken the motors out. Go home, make something with these motors, and make it scientific-y,
and prove scientific things about it, and bring it. And you get points for creativity. You get points for proving scientific things. So I went home and I figured, this might be a good time to make. Well, I raised my hand first. I'm sorry, I got a little lost there. And I said, Mr. Comer, I have a motor at home. Can I use that instead of this motor here? He said, sure, Irwin, I don't care. So then I went home and I figured it was a good time to make magic fingers for Barbie and Ken. A lot of you are decent people, and your parents, when they took you on vacation, you probably stayed at Holiday Inns, not the Red Rug Inn or the Days Inn. There's a thing called magic fingers. Who does not know what magic fingers is? All right, decent people. Yeah, good. Decent people on this side of the room. All right, this is what it is. There's a motor under the bed, and there's a box beside the bed, and the box beside the bed has a slot for. Oh, now you know I'm not. It has a slot for a quarter. That box was replaced by another box that would take a credit card, but we're not going to talk about that because there's a child in the room. It was, and that's gone now too. But anyway, that box beside the bed had a quarter, and it was magic fingers was written on it. It was amazing. It's the coolest thing. And what you do, you put your quarter in it, and the bed would go. And it was wonderful, just like my football set would go with little football guys. Like that. So I went and got out. Is everybody clear on what a magic fingers bed is? And it goes for like 20 minutes. So I went into my closet. I pulled out my football set. My sister Squiffy had baby dolls. Now that's not Sesku, that's Squiffy. She had baby dolls. She had little prams, little baby things, and they wet and all that kind of thing. And I got some bedding from her baby dolls. I went to my mama's sewing kit. I got some lace, made a nice dust ruffle. On the football table, I went and got Barbie and Ken. I put them in some sleepwear. Tasteful sleepwear, of course. I put them on the bed. My mama came in and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Science project." She saw Barbie and Ken laying there and goes, "No way, young man. You wait right here." She went to the little bookshelf. Remember those little, the Christian athletes would throw those little green New Testaments out at the football game, and people would be fighting over them and stuff. Prince of Peace, y'all! And that happened. She takes the little green Bible with the New Testament and the Proverbs and the Psalms. She puts that between Barbie and Ken. She runs into my room. She's rifling through my G.I. Joe stuff. And then I hear her going into Squiffy's room. She's rifling through her Barbie stuff. She put G.I. Joe in a blue Air Force flight suit. She found 2 half slips, put that on him like this. She brought him out, kind of made a cassock. And she said, when he got back from Nam, G.I. Joe went to seminary. He's an Episcopal priest. G.I. Joe married Barbie and Ken. We moved the Bible. It was wholesome now. It was okay. And what I did, okay, now it has to be scientific. So I took a shoebox. I took the lamp cord, as it were, for my electric football game. This is back when they would let children play with things that plugged in the wall. Vein makers, polyvinyl chloride making mist in our noses. Remember that? The thing maker, yeah. It's a 350-degree hot plate. Do you use that under no supervision? What? And I took the lamp cord. I split the lamp cord using my Cub Scout pocket knife. I cut one piece of that bicord, remember that lamp cord? I exposed the copper, put that in the shoebox. I made a little ramp for my quarter. I had the little slot. I made a window out of cellophane so you could see the electrical stuff going on. I wrote with a magic marker, "Magic Fingers," registered trademark. It worked beautifully, y'all. I put my quarter in. The quarter goes down the shaft. It lands on the cord. It connects the conductant, thus completing an electrical circuit scientifically. Yeah. I'm sort of except. I took it to class. Mr. Comer said, "Okay, after class you can show us your science project." Well, word got out all my friends called me Offutt back in those days. Offutt's done a science project. No way. Yeah, Offutt's done a science project. He hasn't done a science project since the 7th grade when he caught that volcano on fire. I know. I made it out of paper mache. I didn't think the baking soda was enough. I had to use magnesium. Anyway, another story. So there it was, my science project, and the science room was full. I mean, absolutely full. Everybody's watching. I was kind of nervous, and so and he said, "Now, Irwin, explain to what you're going to do." "I'm going to complete the electrical circuit for Magic Fingers for Barbie Ken. They're married. Here's G.I. Joe. It's illegal." "All right, do it, Irwin." "All right, I'm going to do it. All right, I'm going to do it." All right. And I shoved the quarter. I shoved it too fast. It went down the ramp. It went past the conductor. It hit the other side of the box, and then it landed, but it only landed on 2 hairs of that copper, and it arced. And when it arced, it made little blue flames, and it caught the cellophane on fire, and it caught the cardboard on fire, and it caught the cord on fire. Luckily, G.I. Joe was a first responder. And he rescued Barbie and Ken. I was born in 1957. I grew up in Covington, Georgia. Our news was delivered to our town by telegraph. And when Brown versus Board of Education took place, our town didn't know about it for a lot of years. I went to E.L. Offutt Elementary School, which is where the white kids went to school. I loved school. I went to 4th grade twice. The predominantly African-American school was called Washington Street School. And one summer, Washington Street, it rained. Kind of like the rain we've been having. It rained and rained and rained, and the roof fell over half the cafeteria, all of the offices, and over 2 classrooms. So the Board of Education met, and over a 3-day meeting, they came up with a ruthless decision that they needed to close that school. These are our grown-ups. All of a sudden, E.L. Offutt integrated completely. So what they decided to do with us was track us. And when they tracked us, and this happened a lot, we were still segregated, but now we're segregated by class. Isn't this right, Carrie?
Yes.
Testify, thank you. So I was in, there's group 5, and they already have, applications to MIT or USC, depending on what their mamas and daddies did for a living. And then if you're in group 4, you're going to go to the University of Georgia, go Dogs. If you're in group 3, you're, you might end up being, doing some sort of service like plumbing or auto mechanic and looking at cars and saying, "That's tore up." I was in group 2. Group 1, they had the little bus. So group 2, in my first year in group 2, I'm the only white kid out of 3 who's not in prison. Mostly African-American classmates. And so I grew up with these folks. And when that happened, all these little private schools popped up all over where I live in the Piedmont of Georgia. And one was called Precious Pious Ones Academy. It's a metal building with a fiberglass steeple. And by the time I got to high school, that school started disintegrating because they couldn't pay their faculty, and after a while it closed. And when I was a junior, it closed. And when it closed, all these kids who hadn't been going to the regular school, the public school since 3rd grade, were all in our high school. And I was in chorus, I was a tenor, I was standing next to the altos. There was a girl named Davina, and I have to tell you, she had the most beautiful voice of anybody in our chorus. And she had gone to Precious Pious Ones Academy. And we're standing there, there's Ms. Hyven, our director, and she's passing out the music. And Davina looked at me, she says, "I saw what happened to your magic fingers." "Were you in the science room? Were you in the science room? Which one am I? Oh, were you in the science room?" "Yeah, I saw what happened. You know what happened to it?" "No, what happened?" "God smote it because of your iniquity." "Of course it smoked, it was a fire." "I did not say smoked, I said smoked. He smoked it because of your iniquity, because of the magic fingers." We were traveling once, and my daddy got us a hotel and a red rug in, and we went in there, and it said magic fingers, and he said, "Oh my dear, make it like a high ho," we left. Because magic fingers is evil. It's just like my cousin gave me a Ouija board and my daddy threw it away. You know why?
Why?
Because it's evil. Do you know how Ouija boards work?
No.
Magic fingers.
Okay.
And we sang. Well, Miss Hyven, I have to say, I was her pet. Very good friend, and I was a little assistant. I'd be in her office before school started every day. My homeroom was in band right next door, and we would hang out, and I would listen to her, and we would talk about stuff, and she was kind of young and kind of cool, and then Davina's mom sent a letter. Now, I know Davina's mom sent a letter because it was on pink Precious Moments stationery. You know, those, hydrocephalic children. That's an awful thing to say. That's just, I cannot believe he said that. Praying at the cross. I'm sorry, by the way, if this offends you, I don't care. And I can read, Catherine Tucker Wyndham could do this. I could do it too. I learned to read upside down because Ms. Hyven read it and slapped it on the desk and cussed. I said, what? She goes, I can't tell you. And I was just talking, she was talking, I was talking, and I read it, and it said, I trust that Davina is going to be part of the all-state chorus. Well, Davina couldn't be part of the all-state chorus. She couldn't read music. Now, yes, she had a beautiful voice, but all she had ever done was sing Christian-y karaoke. Which, it's with the slides. They used old slides back in the day, and it was all recorded music that they sang to. And if you listen to some of that 70s, 80s Christian-y music, the melody is always Ring Around the Rosie. Lord, we praise you, we forgive you. It's Ring Around the Rosie. Next time you're dialing your radio, you're driving along, you're looking for NPR down on the left, and you hit that, just hum Ring Around the Rosie when you hear those songs. It'll fit right into the harmony. I promise you. Absolutely, it works. And I'm not talking about faith or Christianity. I'm talking about Christian-y, and when I use Christian as an adjective, I add the Y. So she was like, the announcement for All-State Chorus came the next day, and Davina was on the chorus. I said, she can't be in the... Andy, it is not your place. Now, she's a good person. She can sing. She has a beautiful voice. I'll help her. And indeed, Ms. Hyven helped her. She banged out the notes on the piano so she could go. And Robert Shaw was conducting us that year, y'all. It was fancy, yeah. Say, there's some musicians here, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm not talking about sacred music either. We did Handel's Messiah, and we did Jubilee Singers, and we did all kinds of sacred music, but not Christian karaoke. And then I was in her office, and another letter came on Precious Moments stationery, and Ms. Hyven looked at it and read it, cussed, slapped it on the desk, and she left the room. I said, where are you going? She goes, Avis, get in here. Now, Avis Williams was my buddy. Avis and I had been friends since the 4th grade. We were in that same 4th grade Group 2 class together. Avis is a genius. Avis is African American. And Avis came in the office, and Ms. Hyven said, Andy, leave. I said, what? Me? I'm your pet. Get out. I walked out. I didn't listen on the door. I just stood outside. Avis came out. And I said, what's up? And she always called me Andrew. Still does. Andrew. At All-State Chorus, the roommates are going to be me, Daisy English, and Carolyn Jefferson. Those are all 3 black girls. And Davina. Because the letter had said, I trust that Davina is not going to have a black roommate. Which I should have said when I read the letter upside down to you, but I forgot. Well, indeed, Davina was going to have a black roommate. And Avis said, I don't want a room with Davina. I said, I don't want a room with Davina. Nobody wants a room with Davina. I said, I have an idea, though. I had been traveling with our jazz band, and I was with our buddy Chaz, and of course, we always stayed at Red Rug Inns. And we'd been going to a district band clinic, and we walked in the Red Rug Inn one day, and I said, Magic Fingers, check it out. And I pulled out my quarter, and Chaz goes, wait, let's find out how it works. I said, it works when you put the quarter in. He goes, no, let's find out how it really works, what makes the bed vibrate. And he crawls onto the bed, and he goes, look at this. And he comes out from under the bed with the female end of an extension cord. He said, that's all Magic Fingers is. This box is just an extension cord. Plugs into the wall, goes through the box. That's what triggers it, goes under the bed. And in the motor, it's just what we call an Edison cord in theater. Y'all call it a plug-in. It just goes right in there. That's good to know. And I always say this to young people, there's stuff you learn in school that you didn't think you would have use for. I learned that on a school trip, and I use it to this day. I don't want to be here by my door. Anyway, that was good to know. And I said, Avis, I have an idea. And I went to my Aunt Marguerite's house to borrow something. She has one of those lamp cords. You know, you plug your lamp in, you can have a timer, you can set it. So at like 9:30 in the evening, the lamp goes off, click. And then at 6 in the morning, it comes back on, click, even if you're not home before everybody had a burglar alarm. And I said, hey, Aunt Marguerite, hey, how are you, sugar? I'm great. Can I borrow your lamp cord that you have plugged in that makes the lamp come on and off whenever you want to? Well, sure, why do you want that? To bring about social change. Well, you help yourself. So I took that lamp cord, I gave it to Avis and said, all right, this is what you do. When we get to the Red Rug Inn. Ms. Hyman, I was the vice president of the chorus. Not impressed. And I said, we're going to stay at, and All-State Chorus was going to be in Savannah. And I said, we're going to stay at a Red Rug Inn, right? She said, yeah, in Savannah, right? She goes, well, yeah, I think so. I said, please make sure it's a Red Rug Inn. And Ms. Hyman, I don't know why she knew that I was up to something, and she kind of knew that she would like it. Is it important, Andy? It's very important that it's a Red Rug Inn. I'm going to trust you. Thank you. I said, all right, Avis, this is what you do. You take the cord, you plug it in on the other side of the bed. You go under the bed, you unplug the Magic Fingers cord. You plug in the timer cord. Set it for 2 a.m. to make sure the bed comes on. To recap, to make sure you see this correctly. The Magic Fingers is plugged in. She plugged it in on the other side of the bed to the actual motor. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
And then on the bus, on the way to Savannah, I said, may I sit with Davina, everybody? I said, yeah, that's fine with me. I said, Davina, we're going to Savannah. She goes, I know. You know where we're staying? No. We're staying in the Red Rug Inn. Except, of course, that Red Rug Inn hasn't been there very long, probably only 40 or 30 years. What used to be there was a great big house, an old house, a house that belonged to a slave ship captain. That's right, the slaver owned that house, and his wife had gone to a revival, and when she went to that revival, she heard a new song that was new in that day, that was written by another slave ship captain, Amazing Grace. And her heart changed at that revival. So when she came back, she saw her slave ship captain. He was getting up in the morning to go to his ship at 2 a.m. And she said, don't go! What you're doing is iniquity, it's evil, it's wrong. Chattel slavery is evil. No, you should know the error of your way. What are you talking about, woman? Let go of me. And oh, let go. And she followed him to the stairs, and he was wearing that puffy sleeves because he was a ship captain. He said, let go of my arm, woman, let go. And she did this, and she had his arm, and she went down the stairs. Broke her neck. It's evil. What you're doing is evil. And you're filled with iniquity. And anybody who comes to this house, or any building that occupies the same space as this house, at 2 a.m., I will haunt them if they have iniquity in their hearts. Well, she wasn't really flatlined, but if she had been hooked up to something. I'm so proud of Avis. Davina went into the bathroom. Avis went under the bed, unplugged the Magic Fingers from the motor, the cord, the box cord, plugged in the extension cord. She had brought a quilt from home. Davina came out of the bathroom. Avis said, Davina, I know you're not comfortable sleeping in the bed with me, I put a pallet at the end of your floor. I'll sleep here. And Davina said, thank you, Avis. But not in a gracious way, in an entitlement kind of way. And then Davina sat on the bed and looked at the Magic Fingers box. Avis said, is everything all right? Davina said, mm-hmm. Are you afraid of that Magic Fingers box? Davina shrugged. Avis said, Davina, if it scares you, just unplug it. And Davina did. And then at 2 a.m., and she was healed from her iniquity of bigotry.